Welcome back to the Northwest Maritime Center here in downtown Port Townsend. This is where we're building Duracell's dinghy that we're going to be putting on the bow of the big boat. The dinghy is a 14-foot Super Scout is what we call it. It's a stitch and glue style build out of plywood and foam and epoxy fiberglass. It's designed by a local designer. It's a really good sailing and rowing dinghy. If you're interested in the kit, we'll put a link below the video. Last week we were able to assemble the boat by stitching it together with zip ties. Once the boat took shape and all the bulkheads were in place, we glued the boat together with thickened epoxy. This week what we're planning to get done is fiberglassing the interior of the boats, get transoms built, build the gunnels, as well as laminate the decks together. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home.
Now that we have the boat stitched together to final form, I'm going through with a pre-fortified epoxy that's loaded in a caulking tube. And I'm working through in between every one of the stitches, just doing a basic tack weld of the boat. This is going to hold the boat together structurally, allow us to take the stitches out, and then begin the filleting process, which is going to fully fortify the boat structurally.
You can't help yourself, Matt. You just can't stop mixing that epoxy.
I know. I should bring my pump in.
Your epoxy pump?
I have a big epoxy pump. It's really easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He's very excited
Maybe
about his
we
pump.
got one more day before you bring that excitement in.
So explain what that is, Matt. What's that you're adding as thickener?
Wood flour is what it's called. I've never used it before, but it's structural wood filler. Makes thickened epoxy, and it looks like wood color.
Well, it smells good too.
It does.
Why don't we
Great for stitch and glue construction.
Why don't we use that on Duracell?
I'm just used to using the silica. Super strong, super cheap. So yesterday we tack welded these boats together. This morning we were able to take the stitches out now that it's kind of held together by the glue. The next step is I've made some thickened epoxy. This is going to go in all of the seams. So I'm going to inject this thickened epoxy into all the seams. I'm going to go over it with a coving stick to make nice fillets. And then the guys are putting fiberglass tapes over those fillets. So this is the gluing part of the stitch and glue part of the boat build.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That was a mischievous laugh.
I think the most enjoyable has been just working with everybody here. Joel's been exceptional, Matt's been exceptional to work with. They've all been so helpful. It's been enjoyable to learn the process, but also enjoyable to meet the other individuals in the class, and especially Joel and Matt in the assistance process has been very good.
Are those seagulls like us, honey?
So weird. The next step is to build up the transom by installing a foam core and plywood doubler. All of the gluing surfaces were first primed with clear epoxy before being buttered up with thick epoxy and clamped together.
We are fully underway in the process of building up the structure for our gunnel assemblies. The gunnel assembly is made up of 3 plywood skins, the outer shear strake of the hull, and a foam core.
Beautiful. So we've got the foam gunnel pieces fit to the boats, and so the next step is to glue them on. We're gonna make thickened epoxy and smear it on the foam pieces, clamp them on with the inboard side of the gunnel, which is plywood, and that will also be smeared up with epoxy and clamp them all overnight. And then I don't know what to have.
Oh no.
Stop it.
Then what, honey? Uh-oh.
Then I don't know.
All right, we're not going to trust this.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that.
This class has been going really well. I would say it's exceeding my expectations of the class. We've been making really good progress and having a lot of fun. The most challenging part of the class for me has been learning the skills, especially working with the resins and the fillings and some of the fiberglass work. So it's, it's just learning how the technique works and then trying to refine it.
we don't need to do a ton of clamps on these. Just roll wet epoxy on these.
What are you gonna do one day, Matt, when there's no more epoxy to mix?
There will always be epoxy projects to do. I don't think I'll ever be lacking in epoxy projects. I'm not worried about that at all.
Let's get the rear end first. And then we'll start from this side and work our way this way.
Look at that.
Look at that, looking sharp.
If we clamp these with the clamps at a 45-degree angle, it spreads out the load of the clamp across the entire inside face of the gunnel. So we'll get better squeeze out with fewer clamps.
And then Paul, you and I can start rolling. This is boat number 2 of 6 on the Gunnel Assembly.
Right now we're getting that inner plywood face glued on with the foam core to start building up the structure of the gunnel. This is going to give us gunnel assembly that has quite a bit of heft but doesn't add very much weight and makes great utility for the boat.
Are you going to try to paint you before you leave? It's going to get stored in a barn, and then when you come back, you can come back up.
Bargain for, but we'll see.
Yeah, like I said,
So there's none on the starboard side? We ran out of epoxy. The mix master John is making us another batch.
I am the barista of Resinista.
So far, the class has been amazing. Great learning experience. We've really discovered that to build a boat, it takes really a team of people. You know, the most challenging thing, I think, is just keeping pace while we work as a team, being able to divide each of the laborers and to be able to support each other has been a bit of a puzzle, but I think we got our rhythm. So we're making resin just in time, laying things down, not keeping people waiting. It's been a mechanism we've had to learn.
Okay, you want to do the bottom?
Then it's just going to...
you want a piece of plastic on that, John, or the block,
Yeah.
or
at least a piece of the thin rope. Yeah, plastic. It'll come off.
We need some bigger pliers than this. You like it there?
Yeah, we're pretty good down here.
okay?
We want to make sure that nose, everything's overhanging.
Seeing the boats come together is absolutely one of the most fun things to see and to do. But you know, unexpectedly, it was that esprit de corps, working together as a team and making new friends around a common goal. I mean, that's just really hard to replicate anywhere else, and it's really been a wonderful experience.
The class is going really well. I'm enjoying the guys in it, and I think the boats are really cool. They come together really simply, and it's very satisfying getting a boat built so quickly.
Two laminations here. We're in the front half of our deck laminating process. What we've done here is we've laid out our fiberglass on a waxed vacuum infusion table. This is going to allow us to utilize the vacuum bagging process to be able to complete the deck in one step instead of stretching it out over 2 days. We're laminating the two 4-ounce skins that will be the top of the deck, and that's getting us set up for next steps. So we've started to seal the porosity of the foam. It's a closed cell foam, but we need to go in and sweep it with a thickened epoxy to make sure that we're not getting any pinholes during the laminating process. In this process, it's a fortified epoxy with microballoons. When we lay it on the wet face on the table, it's the next layer in the lamination process to getting us our fully laminated deck in one vacuum process. Part of the laminating process, we need to perforate the foam. This puts a bunch of small little 1/8-inch holes in a 4 to 6 inch grid, and it keeps us from trapping air bubbles in the vacuum bagging process.
The most enjoyable part has been, I don't know, I am learning some things from Joel, which is really handy. We do get to vacuum bag a little bit, which I absolutely love, of course, doing the decks.
Getting started this nice sunny morning. We got all their Gunnel assemblies glued up yesterday. We were able to pull all the clamps off, and now we're just cleaning up kind of the squeeze out in prep for taking a router and rounding over the tops of the gunnels, just to get a really nice clean rounded transition. We're also cleaning up the rudder parts that we got laminated last night, and that'll allow us to start building up the rudder assembly for the boat.
We've made a ton of progress this week. Cleaning up these rails especially has made the boats really like They look excellent, but it's been a lot of work. These are long days we're putting in, getting them to this point, but really excited for the next few days, putting the decks on, glassing the outside, and hopefully putting them in the water soon. We have a new patron to thank this week. We got an excellent email from Ginny, who is local to the Puget Sound area. She is new to sailing, but already has a trimaran. It's an F-32, Farrier designed F-32 AX, and she's already doing boat projects, building benches and stuff inside her boat, doing fiberglass work. She's doing a beautiful job. She said that she's learning a bit from our channel, and we're so happy to be, educating people a little bit. And she's also learning from all the other awesome resources that are in the area. So thank you very much, Ginny, and everybody who's helping support the channel. We couldn't do this without you.